What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we're going to be talking about this guy. This is the Jake Hoback Enoch, a smaller version from what you're used to seeing from Jake. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Alrighty. So, this is the Jake Hoback Enoch. This knife was provided to the channel by my wonderful friend, Mr. Knives Fast. Go check out Mr. Knives Fast. I will have his YouTube and Instagram linked down below. Definitely go check him out. We have become really good friends over these last few months. The guy's just awesome. And Mr. Jake Hoback actually sent him this knife, which is really, really cool. You have seen one other Jake Hoback knife on the channel, which was the Hoback. That was sent over by Mr. Blade Centered, and we got that review done. I loved that knife. It was really, really cool. This one is much, much different than the other Jake Hoback designs that I have seen and looked at, because this is a smaller knife. Now, you guys know that I'm a big knife guy. However, I am a huge fan of Mr. Jake Hoback. And this knife was something I think that he did that was genius. He wanted to keep the cost down and give people the opportunity to get one of his knives. He wanted a smaller EDC size knife that most people would like to carry, and I think he hit it out of the park. This one is wearing G10 scales. There is your excellent blade shape. I love this blade shape. If I can get my camera to focus, there's your Hoback. And there is, on the other side, it says JL310. I'm assuming that's some kind of scripture because he does that on a lot of his knives. I'm not familiar with what it is, but yeah, he does that on a lot of his knives, which I can totally respect and appreciate. There is your pocket clip. Not deep carry. It's not deep carry, but it is right or left hand carry. So that's nice. Lefties out there. It is a liner lock. And I want to say, wow, I don't think I checked this. I want to say these are titanium liners. I'm pretty sure they are. I don't have my magnet in front of me. I should have checked that beforehand, but I'm pretty sure it is titanium liners. It is just a flipper deployment, and that is the only way to deploy this knife. However, the golden feature of this knife is the detent on the flipper. There is no failing this. As soon as you pass that point, it comes out, and there is no stopping it. So the detent is tuned to perfection on this knife. I loved it because, you know, some on other flippers, you can get to the detent and they don't go all the way up. It's not a huge deal because most of the time, if they don't go all the way up when you break the detent, it's just because you're trying to fail it, and usually you don't. This one is so well tuned, you can't fail it. It's just impossible. So he did a really, really good job. Jake Hoback also invented the Jake Hoback rolling detent. This one does not have the rolling detent. However, it has a ceramic detent ball. It is running on bearings, and it is super duper smooth. Really, really smooth. When you get this past the detent, you just little shakes. Oh, just listen. Listen to this. Listen to it suck that in. That nice click sound. I really like that. You know, a knife doesn't have to have it, but it really makes me happy whenever I can hear it suck that blade in. And you hear that click. Just does something for me. I know I'm weird. But this knife surprised me. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the smaller knives. You guys know that. But ergonomically, this knife, for my big old hands, yeah, my pinky is kind of coming off the back end. As you can see, you can't see the knife. And it doesn't have a forward finger choil, which I usually prefer on my smaller knives. But ergonomically, this thing surprised the heck out of me. Usually, I like it when a knife swells in the back. But this one is so small that if it was to swell in the back, I think my pinky would be even less comfortable the way it is right now. So it does allow me, see how my hand is kind of at an angle? I like the ergonomics because it puts my hand in a way where I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is a perfect spot for cutting. That doesn't have any jimping on the backside or on the top of the blade, which I am totally fine with, because whenever I'm holding this knife, my thumb rides up here. It does have a really big swedge there on each side, that I really dig as far as the way it looks. However, when I put my thumb on back here, my thumb doesn't rest right here on this flat, which people with smaller hands it probably would. My thumb rests up here. And so the fact that it comes to a very skinny edge right there, it's not exactly the most comfortable when I'm having to bear down. But this knife is not a hard use folder. Now it's definitely built well. That is for sure. Jake does not make anything that's not built well, let me tell you. But this is a very good EDC, cutting your boxes open, your packages, your tape, your zip ties, the regular EDC stuff. It does come to about 20 thousandths behind the edge, maybe a little bit thinner here. It comes up to about 20 thousandths behind the edge. So super slicey. I was able to cut everything that I needed to, and there was hardly any resistance at all through cardboard, whatnot. I was really, really impressed. You'll also see the nice, maybe, stonewash finish on this blade. Come on, camera. And of course, we'll turn it around, get some really good looks. 3D milled G10 titanium pocket clip. Just really well done G10 because it has grip, but it is not sharp at all. Nothing like a PM2. It's not as grippy as a PM2, but because of the ergonomics, you don't need it. It really does feel locked in, and I was super surprised. I mean, I really was. I saw this knife on Casey's channel, Knife Fast, and was really intrigued because I just am a real big fan of Jake Hoback. Even though I don't own one of his knives right now, I am going to be looking for a model that speaks to me the most. He's got one, I can't remember the deadgum name of it, but it's a beast. It's like Nitro V steel, and it's freaking huge. Dang, I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyways, I was kind of looking at that, almost traded for one a while back, and just never did do it. So I'm going to have to get one in the collection. I am so very thankful that Jake sent this to Knives Fast and allowed him to send it to me. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate it. There's not a lot going on here, but the lines of this knife is very unique. Yeah, the way the handle shapes, I just don't usually like when a handle gets thinner down here. But it's just crazy how it fits my size hands. I don't know how I know it fit Casey's hand. His hands are a little smaller than mine. I know it fit his hands really good. But yeah, now if I see a design like this, I'm thinking twice because I really am digging the way that this feels. It cut excellently. I'm just a big fan. So what we're going to do is we're going to get behind there. I'm going to do some size comparisons because this is a small knife, but it's not tiny. It's not like a smaller knife where I just can't do it. This is definitely a doable size knife. Mainly for me would be like a backup or a secondary knife, but I know a lot of people this would totally do well for a primary knife if you like the smaller, more lightweight versions of the EDC carry. So let's get behind and check this out. All right, so let's get this thing on. A little closer look at this beautifully done G10. I'm a huge fan of this green color. Oh, come on, camera. Very big fan. As you can see, dead centered, maybe. Golly. Dead centered, full liners, not skeletonized, but the knife is small enough where I don't think that it needs it. You've got your back spacer here. That goes just about right there. Green to match the color. It's also G10. Get you another look at the pocket clip. That's going to be a deal breaker for most people in their EDC because, yeah, it sticks out about that much. I found that I really, really did enjoy it, though, because that's how I pulled this knife out, is right here. The retention on the clip is very, very good, and it pulled out of pocket like a dream. It also carries like a dream because how thin it is. So, yeah, very, very nice. It does have no jimping on the top here, but it doesn't really need it. It's a very, very good design to where my finger never did actually fall off of this thing. And like I said, the D10 is just tuned to perfection. So, I can just do the push button or the light switch on this guy, and it works every single time. The only thing that this knife was kind of problematic for me is the access to the lock bar. It's not the easiest to get to. Definitely not, the worst either, but with my big old thumbs, when I have this thing in, my thumb always gets in the way whenever it comes down with a flipper tab and it doesn't get past the detent. It was kind of the same way with the Quaken. So it's just one of those things where I have to put my thumb like way down here to try to get it. And then even then it's kind of harder to get the lock bar. So I found myself, instead of letting it drop and then trying to get it to go like that, which is very rare, I just kind of put the lock bar out of the way and closed it just like this. And it is super, super smooth. Super smooth. So that was really the only gripe that I had with the knife, just because I like to fidget with my knives, and that makes it a little bit less fidgety, but not a big deal. So what is the specs on this thing? So we have an overall length of, what was the overall length? Boom. Where was it at? Oh, 7.35. Sorry, I've kind of missed my stuff up over here. So it's got an overall length of 7.35. Not huge at all. Definitely a smaller knife. A closed length of 4.225. You have a blade length of 3.125, so just over that 3 inches of cutting edge. The blade thickness of about 156 thousandths. It is 20 CPM 20 CV, and so I love that steel. Awesome steel. It's just one of the best EDC steels out there. And the handle scales are about 80 thousandths thick, which relates to about 492 thousandths of thickness here, so under the ½ inch mark, so that's really good. What does it compare to some of the other smaller knives? We have the Spyderco PM, or the Para 3. Very similar in size to the Para 3. You do have a much slimmer profile, so it does carry a little bit better in the pocket because of that. You know, you have your big swoop here for your hole on your Para 3, so if you think the Para 3 carries good, this thing carries like a dream. Another knife that is a very good comparison, even the same color, look at there, is the Forge Stinger. Now, overall length and stuff, we are really similar. This one does have a forward finger troll, so ergonomically, I would rather have a forward finger troll. Now, like I said, the ergonomics on this, I don't feel like I need one, but if I had one, I can kind of tell this is not a forward finger troll or a position to choke up on, but I can put my finger there without using the knife and tell, oh yeah, if this thing had a forward finger troll, the ergonomics would be dreamy. And I'm not saying that it needs it, but for me and my preferences, yes, 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 that would be cool. Also, with the Forge Stinger, you know, you have the flipper, and it does have a fuller here where you can do the reverse flick. That would be cool, I think, especially for us guys who like to fidget with our knives. If there was something there like a fuller or a, you know, something like that. But as you can see, the design of the knife, the blade basically disappears. All you really see is the swedge. So you got to appreciate that and that slimness, because as you can see, it does adhere, but it does stick out a little bit further. Let's go ahead and see what we got as far as our, so very, very similar, guys, knives. But you're getting way better materials here, which you're not getting bad materials on the Stinger. It was one of my favorite knives, favorite budget knives of 2020. But you're getting, you know, 20 CV, titanium, and it's just a really, really good little EDC knife that I think would pair good with something like this. I think these are very comparable, but you're just getting better materials with the Jake Hoback, and you're getting an American-made knife, and so you really can't complain. It is around, what did I say, about 255 bucks or so, around there for this guy. I don't think is bad at all. I think that is a very good price from an American maker who does really, really good work, and his warranty is great. His customer service is great. The boxes that these came, oh my gosh, the boxes. I haven't had one of their boxes on the channel because when people have sent me their, you know, the boxes are kind of big, so it just makes it harder for shipping. But the wood boxes that they come in are so freaking cool. The packaging from Jake is stellar. So that is about it. I love the knife. Ergonomically, it surprised the hell out of me. We've got good materials. The only thing is the access to the lock bar could be a little bit better. The action on this thing is like none other. The detent for the flipper tab is perfect. Absolutely perfect. If you are a flipper and you like, or you're a flipper guy and you like flippers, you really can't go wrong with this because it's just impossible to fail. It really, really is. Very simple design, very simple construction, easy to take apart. Jake is one of those who wants you to maintenance your knives, so there is no voiding the warranty unless you do something stupid when you take this knife apart to maintenance it. Gotta love that. Remember, go check out Mr. Knives Fast. I will have it linked down below. Super cool guy. Casey has just become a really good friend, and I love him dearly. Stay safe, guys, in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.